Hey there, it's Heather Hakes. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking with you about love, dating, and triggers as it relates to mindset. This is something we can all relate to because we've all been in a relationship, are in a relationship, or want to be in a relationship. And what I want to share with you is there is a reason that divorce rates are over 50%. It's because we haven't gotten it yet, We are relying on our partner to fill up our cup. We are relying on our partner to make us happy or, to validate us. And if you are expecting an external source, whatever it may be, in this case, your partner, to make you feel happy, complete, joy, in love, whatever, you are always going to be disappointed. Happiness and love and everything else is an inside job. And so what I want to share with you today is the difference between a special relationship and a holy relationship. This is something A Course in Miracles teaches often, but what I want to help explain to you what this means is special relationships are any relationships with two people. So it can be parent-child, it can be friends, it can be boss and coworker, obviously romantic, but just any relationship with two people can be a special relationship. But in special relationships, this is where it leads ultimately to conflict, pain, loss, suffering, struggle, fear, exhaustion, anger, jealousy, lust, and all these other negative emotions, because special relationships are conditional. Special relationships are based around the ego. And as I've talked about in previous episodes, ego is about edging God out. When you are living in an ego space, in an ego environment, remember that's your split mind. Anytime you're living from ego, it's living from fear. You are always going to be disappointed. Instead, a holy relationship, as I will explain, or living from your higher self, your Holy Spirit, you're living from a space of love, that is how you win. And when two individuals agree to a holy relationship in which you are defenseless and there's no pointing fingers and there's no keeping score and you're each on your own journey holding the truth for each other, that is how you create a win-win relationship. That is how you create an amazing relationship with your boss or with your child or your parent or friends, neighbors, romantic, etc. That is how you do it. And the only reason I can share all of this experience with you is because obviously I've been through my own relationships. And I actually want to read for you something I posted today on social media because honestly, I just couldn't memorize all of this. But what I want to share with you is this. Nobody is sent to you by accident. Every relationship is a holy encounter. So you've got to trust. And I've heard this quote before and I do like it. I appreciate it. Everybody comes into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. But it's so easy to get hung up on an ego trip and be upset and anger and resentful and all these negative things, where instead, if we could be like, oh, this was a holy encounter. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the reminder. If we could find gratitude in it and learn from the lesson and do better next time, relationships would be so much more amazing. So let me go ahead and read this to you verbatim, what I said earlier today. So let's talk love, dating, and triggers. But first, know this, no one is sent to anyone by accident. Relationships, especially romantic relationships, can be such a trigger or such a gift. It depends what perspective you choose. The last two men that I have dated dropped the love bomb quickly and wanted to put a ring on it. I'm 35 years old. These men that I were dating, one was 37, one was 44. At this point in our life, we've both been through many relationships. I mean, you cut to the chase very quickly. What are you looking for long term? Do you have core values? And that's when things can happen quickly. I never judge the timing of something. I don't think the timing is any part of issue in relationships. But when we get to the specialness, when we get to these conditions where we create ultimately failure for each other, that's why relationships end. So let me get back to it. At the time when this is happening so quickly in the first couple of weeks, it felt surreal, like maybe when you know really is a thing. And then both faded almost as quickly as they started. It feels defeating in the moment, but I always remind myself, I love this quote, it's this or something better, because otherwise it's so easy to fall down the rabbit hole, and it's so easy to sit in grief for weeks and months, and I don't want that to be my experience. I don't want to be sad and upset that I fantasized this thing that didn't end up happening. Instead, I go back to my root. I go back to my truth, and I know and have faith it's this or something even better. And I just trust that these men were stepping stones for me for my next holy relationship. They were reminders to myself of who I really want to be and what I no longer want to experience. All right, let me get to it. So I always trust my gut, and when something doesn't feel right, you know when something doesn't feel right. So it's like, stop trying to force this square peg in a round hole. So when something doesn't feel right, you've got to trust it. It's easy to get swept up in lust and romanticize the idea of something. That's when we fantasize and we start picturing and imagining someone as we want them to be, not as they truly are. So there's a difference between special relationships, which are conditional, in which you rely on someone else to complete you. Thanks, Jerry Maguire. And a holy relationship, which is trusting and having faith in God as your center and holding truth of who you are for each other. And what I mean by that is, when you are not relying on each other for your happiness and your joy, when you are doing your own self-work, when you have that connection to God, universe, Holy Spirit, the higher power at the center of your being, at your core, when you are relying on that to power you, then you both are going to become this, quote, the power couple. That's what we're after. That's what we're seeking, is this amazing journey with a partner who's on the same page. We project onto our partner their, quote, faults, which ultimately are our own dislikes about ourselves. People are mirrors for us to see more clearly what we think of ourselves. So let me give an example. When you point out something negative about somebody, like, oh, they're so arrogant, or they're so insecure, or they're so judgmental, or whatever, fill in the blank, that's honestly something you dislike about yourself. So I want you to pay attention. The next time that happens to you, the next time you're pointing the finger at somebody, stop, pause, and go, wait a minute. Where am I doing that myself? So people are mirrors for us to see more clearly what we think of ourselves. These special relationships go from love and lust and fantasizing and cloud nine to anger and resent, pain, loss, ultimately breakups, right? Because they're based in fear. This ultimately leads to conflict, pain, and loss. And this is what I'm trying to help you stop doing. I want you to find that holy relationship, or if you're currently in one, I want you to be able to have the tools and techniques, the truth on how to mend that and how to grow together. So think of this. Here's another way of talking about special relationships. This is when you're scorekeeping, the need to be right, distrust, lust, jealousy, etc. And again, no wonder the divorce rate is 50% or more at this point. Or you can enter into a holy relationship where you share transparency, shared grace and gratitude, self-accountability, defenselessness, unconditional love, genuine humility, etc. But this takes the willingness of both partners coming from this space of truth and love and humility and grace for each other. You've got to both be doing it. So just know this, when it comes to dating and relationships, every encounter is a gift, and I'm grateful for the experiences and reminders of truth. Both of these relationships were through the means of dating apps. And, this is trying to make something happen. Sitting there, swiping, hoping I meet somebody that fits the criteria of a height or hair color or location or interest. And I love this. I heard this one from Dr. Joe Dispenza. He says, stop looking at body parts. So instead, it's about living in excited anticipation of how you might meet someone. Let the perfect person for you be shown to you. And this time, I'm taking my own advice. When anything amazing has happened in my life, whether it's when I found my current home or job offers have come my way or huge financial gains, it was never from a space of trying to make something happen, going out, trying to meet someone, trying to get connected, being on the dating apps and swiping. It was never about trying. Life isn't struggle. Life doesn't have to be this strife. Instead, you really can live in ease and flow. And I'm taking my own advice this time. I have decided, because I know it's happened for me in many other ways in my life, in many other categories and experiences, I am going to sit here and I'm going to have faith and trust and knowing that the most perfect partner for me, who is on the same journey, who has core values, who is going in the same direction as I am, is going to be shown to me when I am ready, when he is ready. So I'm no longer going to try to make things happen. I'm done with the swipe game. And I truly hope the next time I do a podcast or a video on dating and relationships, I want to be doing it with my ideal partner. I want to be doing it with him and sharing our story with you. So here I am, I'm putting the intention out there. This is about manifesting that perfect mate. But I'm out of the driver's seat. I have no need to control it. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to sit in excited anticipation of how he comes, and I can't wait to share our love story with you. I'll catch you on the next video.